Welcome back, everybody. Before we get started, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that we have a class coming up on optimizing your Google business profile. This is our second run through the class. We've done it live once already, and it went over so well that we're excited to be offering it again. So if you don't know what Google Business Profile is, we have a free download for that. So it'll be linked in the show notes here. But really, it's a tool that you can use to get found online, to get found in Google searches, and it'll help you. You can rank higher in Google searches. Yep. And it's a free tool. So with, everything costs approximately $1 bajillion these days. And so if we can show you how to use a free tool, that is even better, especially since something like 86% of people do their searches on Google. And when they are searching for a landscaper near me, we want you to be at the top of those searches. If not the very first, at least in the top like 3. So the class that we're going to teach is actually on optimizing your account once you get it set up, because a lot of people get their account set up, but there are steps that you can take after that to make it even better. Yep. And that is what we're going to go over in that class. It's March 13th, $50, super cheap, totally worth it.
Yep. And it's also going to help you get found, not just landscapers near me, your surrounding towns too, because that was something that people brought up.
Well, that is a little, but people are concerned about that because they're afraid they're only going to show up in their town. But I say Scott has a workaround for that. And on that note, if you have concerns that you don't really know how to, you're not real tech savvy, don't worry about it. Because when I say Scott knows how to do it, I show up for these classes because I try to ask all the questions that people might have that they're afraid to ask. So I purposely kind of don't know exactly all of it. And so I sit in on these classes and I learn at the same time that you guys do. So don't worry, I'll ask all the questions. Yep. And if you have questions that I'm not asking, you can put them in the chat because we want to make sure that everyone knows what they're doing and gets all their questions answered. But yep. I guess the moral of that rant is just don't be afraid to ask what you might deem a air quotes stupid question, because I ask Scott every question that pops into my head, whether I think it's stupid or not, because I figure if I'm thinking it, then somebody else is probably has a question over it too. So
yeah, we had a lot of great responses just about the ability to ask questions during this workshop. So it's an awesome workshop. It's going to be $50 March 13th at 6 p.m. Central Time. So you guys do not want to miss it. Like I said, we had such a great response, we're going to bring it back, do it again.
Absolutely.
Just because we have people asking about it. So make sure you guys get signed up today. It's definitely well worth the $50. I guarantee you can make more money than using that. We actually have a person that reached out to us, said they're going to save money because they hired somebody else to do that, and they found out how easy it is to use this.
This is not something that you need to hire anybody to do. Please don't let anybody hoodwink you into that. I don't know if hoodwink's the right word, but I'm sure they have good intentions. But this is something that, especially since we're all, balling on a budget right now, this is something you can absolutely do on your own without having to be crazy tech savvy.
Yep.
We want to take a quick second to tell you about our friends over at Cycle CPA. I can't even express to you how important it is to have a good accountant on your side. You want accurate bookkeeping and financial statements every month. Instead, you're often left with limited time to focus on the accounting side of your business and no reports to show for it. At Cycle CPA, the landscaping accountants, they not only handle the bookkeeping, but also provide landscape industry benchmarking, job costing, financials by service line, advisory meetings, and much more. Cycle CPA has a team of landscaping accountants available to provide anything from bookkeeping to CFO services. Visit cyclecpa.com, and for $100 off, mention the $1 Million Landscaper podcast.
So today we are going to be kind of doing a little offshoot of this because the Google Business profile can be used to help get business. And
yes,
that is our overall, is to get more business, to get more money, to get more revenue.
Everybody's worried that, people are tightening up on the purse strings. And so you might have to have more leads than you've ever had to have in the past just to get the same volume of work. And so get the leads, get out there. And we're going to talk about upsells today because once you're talking to, and once you've captured somebody's ear and you know that they want some landscaping or whatever it is, whatever they want done, whatever services you offer, if you're not looking for upsells while you're out there with them in their yard or wherever you're looking at work with them, if you're not looking for upsells, then you're leaving some serious cash on the table.
Absolutely. And the biggest thing that I found, and I've actually just had a couple of different conversations about this with some of our members of our programs about upselling, because they haven't really done it, or they've done a little bit of it. But the biggest thing that they struggle with the point of upsells is they don't want to come across sleazy or just salesy. And the approach that, we talk about is not going to come across that way, because we are going to be selling things that are related to whatever that you're actually out there, or things that you already are, do in your business.
Upsells are, it's not like you're out there selling, I'll use a food reference. It's not like, you're at McDonald's and they're like, oh, do you want like some caviar with that? No, McDonald's offers you fries with that, because they're trying to trying to sell you something that already goes with what you're eating. And so I invite you to just take this little mental shift of the things that you're offering people as upsells are things that as homeowners, they might have not even thought of, or they're things that they didn't know existed. Yeah. So you're really just giving them options that they didn't even know that they had or existed. And so it's not coming off as salesy or slimy. It's just, hey, BT dubs, by the way, if you hadn't thought about this, we have this that could help with this and this and this. So just reframe it in your mind a little bit. You're not being sleazy. You're not being, slimy. All you're doing is just offering them more options and more offers that they didn't even know were possible.
Yeah. And the cool thing with upsells, it's not necessarily something that you're doing, from the first initial point that you meet with a person. You can, absolutely. But it could be throughout when you are out there servicing the customer, your guys are actually doing that project. There's things that you can point out to the customer that maybe you didn't see the first time, or you just didn't feel was the right moment. But you can do this all the time, and we're going to talk.
But use a change order if you do that. Sorry.
Well, depending what it is, yeah. And then we're going to talk a little bit about having your team out there, because they're the eyes and ears sometimes out there, especially if you're the owner that's out doing sales and not so much in the field. You need to train your team to point out certain things, and we'll kind of go over that here in a minute. But it is an important thing that we need to be looking for, and like Katie said, it's shifting your mind from it's not sleazy, that we're just letting them know there's other things out there. And you're not pushing to them to like, hey, you need to do this or not. But hey, we have this here. Just to give you an example, one thing that I used to do, just throw this out here. When I'm out there doing like a estimate for a patio, and it happens to be next to like a concrete wall that's been there, like a concrete retaining wall the homeowner, had put on when they built the house, whatever it is, and it's all moldy, it looks kind of nasty. I would point out to them like, hey, since we're doing this project right here, we got this concrete wall, it's already there. How about we give it a quick wash and get that all cleaned off, get that mold off there. You're going to have this nice looking patio. Then you got this moldy wall over here. How about that? And, give them to them a good price or whatever, where I'm still making money. And they're like, oh, yeah, I never thought about that.
Because they probably just didn't think about it.
They didn't know about it, So it's just those little things. I've done that with like, we're already out there pressure washing a sidewalk to reseal it. And put new polymeric sand. We did the deck that was right next to it too. Like pressure wash that. It was an easy upsell. So there's a lot of things that you could do while you're out there. And again, these are things that your team could be looking for when they're out there. But we'll get into that here in a second. But again, just it's looking for things when you're out there, and there's always things out there you can find. And it's one of those things you have to kind of train your brain, I guess, to do and look for. And it wasn't something that I just did when I first started sales. It was something that I kind of
you have to practice.
Yeah.
And you probably have to think about it at first. So if you've never done this before, there's probably going to be some effort that's going to have to go into thinking about it and remembering to do it. But then the more you do it, the more you'll get your eyes trained to just see these things, and it'll get more comfortable. It'll just kind of roll off the tongue. It'll get a lot easier to do, because you'll notice them, and you'll have the confidence to do it because you have practiced it and have done it before. So it's okay if you've never done it. Just push through the hard, awkward parts, and it'll get a lot easier, I promise.
And Katie said, you train your eyes. You also need to train your ears, because you also need to be listening to the customer. When they mention that their son likes to be outside doing golf, or likes to play golf, or not say doing golf. They might be like to play
golf. As you can
practicing.
tell, we are not sports people. Get out there and do your golf.
When they're out there, their son's on the golf team. Well, if you install artificial turf, could you install the putting green right there for them? Or, you hear the husband likes it, or you see golf bags in his garage. Look for cues that are out there. They have a dog and it's muddy. What are things that you can do for that? There's, could you put that artificial turf for the dog to go to the restroom on, so they're not walking in the mud? There's tons of different things you'd be looking for.
If you can point out anything I can do for my yard for my dog, I will probably buy it. Yeah. I am that person. I'll be like, kids, whatever, Scott. Meh. But I'm like, oh, this will help my dog and make my dog happy. I will absolutely pay for it. Thank you.
Well, and part of the upsell is like when the person says like they like to entertain, they like to have a lot of people over. Well, I know you mentioned, having the patio. Have you ever considered doing an outdoor kitchen? And you're just throwing it out there naturally. You're not saying, it doesn't come off slimy when you say it that way. Have you ever thought about it, outdoor kitchen? You have a nice, if you like to have drinks, you can have a refrigerator, all these, sink, all that stuff. We can do that for you if you're interested. It's yes or no. If not, okay, you move on. It's just not like you're not just being pushy salesman. But it's, again, listening to what they have to say, looking for visual things when you're out there. 2 summers ago, I went out to visit one of our clients down in Indianapolis.
One of our coaching clients.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we went out there, and he was walking me through, we're kind of going through like a sales process and everything. He took me out to a job that he had to do an estimate for. And we're walking around the property. It was just a general cleanup job, and just trimming some bushes and mulching and stuff like that. And we're walking around, and I pointed out to the person I'm there coaching with, and I'm like, hey, they don't have, their downspouts are dumping right on the foundation. And he didn't get what I was saying. And I knew he installed the pop-up emitters. I'm like, you care if I say something to the customer? Like, no. So I was like, hey, whatever the name was, like, hey, do you have any water issues in your house? He's like, well, sometimes the heavy rains. I'm like, well, I noticed, your downspout there, it literally dumps right on your foundation. We have this solution that we can bury this drain tile, run it out away from your house, so you're not having that water issues anymore. I'm like, oh, really? You can do that?
See, so the customer didn't know.
Yeah, we sold an extra. I don't remember how many. It was like a couple bubblers, but it was like $500-$600 extra right then and there. Just because pointing it out.
The crews were already going to be out there doing work, so might as well have them do this while they're out there too.
Yeah, and then I pointed out a couple other things. They had a little brick sidewalk in the back. Well, could we touch up some of the edges? They didn't install the sidewalk, but somebody else did. But some of the edges were falling down. And they're like, well, not right now. Okay, cool. That's fine. Yeah, just throwing it out there.
Yeah, put it in your notes for later.
Yeah, you're just noting those things when you're walking around. I think a lot of times we get focused because the customer calls about the yard cleanup that we're just looking at the yard cleanup. Look at everything there and look at all these opportunities to upsell, increase that revenue per customer. That's what we need to be looking at. I mentioned in a previous podcast that a lot of times we get stuck in the mindset this is like a one-off type product or one-off type, not product, but service that we're just one and done. That's it. No, there's a lot of opportunities. So like I mentioned that patio that need to be kind of fixed up and repaired. Well, you didn't sell it right then and there. Could you reach out to them 6 months from now, a year from now? Like, hey, Mrs. Smith, we were out there last year. We did the cleanup job, installed some pop-up emitters. I noticed that patio, you guys want to get that repaired. Again, that's part of that upsell. You didn't sell it that early on, but could it be a sale later on? Again, it goes back to increasing that revenue per customer. And the cool thing with doing it after the fact, I guess, is you've already built the trust. You've built that relationship with that customer from the initial service that you did. Now they know what, how your team is and everything else. It might be an easier upsell later on because you've already built that
when they
trust.
Are ready, you'll be top of mind because they already know about your work.
So I just kind of want to give you some of the easy upsells that I've done in my business that worked out really well for us. And again, I know everybody's different, but for us, we would do seasonal color enhancements. So like our commercial maintenance projects, we would try to sell them seasonal color. So we would go in there in the spring, put flowers in. Come fall time, we'd take those flowers out, put some other type of flowers, kale and mums and stuff like that. we'd also sell them package deals, where we come in and do maintain those flowers that we put in and water them and fertilize them. Katie used to do this herself. We'd go out there and pull weeds. And
That I did. That I did.
Long time ago, yeah. Lighting upgrades, or adding a few lights up front for along
I
paths
think
and
people
stuff.
don't realize how much a little bit of lighting can really make your house look sharp.
Yeah, and it's easy upsell when they start pointing it out. And I'm not going in there selling a $30,000 lighting package. It might just be something small, because what I found is selling this lights up front and maybe by a sidewalk or something like that. It led to a bigger project later on, because they saw how awesome that looked, with that few lights up front or whatever. And that just was an easy upsell for us. I mentioned the pop-up emitters, the downspout connectors. We run the drain tile out and a little 90 elbow with pop-up, and just run that water away. And like I said, it was easy to upsell when I saw the water dumping
Because
down.
that solved a very specific problem. Nobody wants a wet basement. Nobody likes water in their basement. So if that can solve a problem, even better.
Yeah, and then too, I'd point those out if I saw like the downspout ran out in the yard. Nobody's mowing wants to get off their mower or shut down the mower to go take the gutter out, or they forget about it and it blows away when the wind comes up. Well, we can.
That was my job when I was a kid. When my dad would be mowing, we had to go all around the house and take off all the downspout, the little extensions, and then we'd have to go put them back on.
Yeah. So see, you didn't have to.
If you don't have kids around to do your little gopher work for you, he had a little. They'd always come off in the wind, so then we had to drill holes and put a nail through it. We were pretty high tech, high tech.
Your dad probably
back
had
in
you
the
out
80s.
with a hand cranking drill.
I don't remember, but that was definitely one of my jobs as a kid.
Another easy upsell for us was adding little fountains, little water features like a bubbling rock or a little urn or something like that. Those are pretty easy upsells, and they're very easy to install. So if you're scared of like water features,
it's a great place to get started.
It's literally a basin. You bury it, you put it level, you put some gravel, you put your pump, you put your fountain urn, whatever it is on top of that. And that's it. You can add on. There's upsells you can do off of that.
Well, once people get hooked on water features, that's like a starter drug. I'm just saying.
It is. But then off of that, you can upsell things too. So you can upsell like the fill valve. You can upsell things for treatments. So there's a lot of things you can do. You can service it during the fall time. For our area, we have to take it, shut it down. We can upsell that, and then start it back up in the springtime. So there's a lot of things you can do. One thing I did kind of mention a little bit is maintenance packages. So with water features, we would sell them maintenance package where we come out and maintain the water feature throughout the summer. We go put some treatments in it, clean it, whatever we need to do.
I would think that would be an easy sell once somebody does their own like fall cleanup one time. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if any of y'all have done that, but that's a lot of gross and it smells.
It does.
So
but
even if they're like, oh, I got this, it can be like, how did you like doing that? Do you want us to come and do it?
Yeah, no, exactly. So our package deal would be the spring startup where we go put the pump back in and that. Maintain it during, go depending on how they want it. Usually every month we go out, do some treatments, clean up the filter and basket and whatnot, and then the fall shutdown. And the cool thing we would do too, it would help us, on the fall shutdown, we'd say we bring back the pump to our shop and we store it for them for the winter time. We put it in the water and we could check the pump over, and you could service it if it needed it. But it allowed us to have that pump. So they had to call us in the springtime to get it back. It's a little like sales tactic, I guess. But
it's nice because if not everybody has a basement or somewhere to keep their pump, it's like, what do I do with this 5-gallon bucket with a pump in it?
Yeah, and we had people that would want to keep it. We would sell them a bucket to put it in, because they may not have had that. So so it's just all kinds of little things you could do. Maintenance things too for outside of water features is selling whole package deals. And this is something I know some of our members have been doing. They've been selling, if they do lawn mowing and lawn maintenance, they'd sell them a whole package deal where they come mow it, they would aerate it, and then even get into the wintertime, someone would sell them snow plowing packages. So you're selling the whole season long, so you're getting money, and they would divide that up. They figured out whatever it is for the whole season. They divide it up so they get a nice equal monthly payments.
Nice monthly package. Yeah.
So it's a nice little package they do, and they got consistent income throughout the year. So So a lot of things you could do as far as looking at packaging up. If you do fertilization, can you package up the full year, for every type of treatment you do, crabgrass or whatever, fertilization, can you package those things up? Look at those types of things. I know some people are doing this for irrigation, where they're starting up in the springtime, they're maintaining it, checking it during the summertime, and in the wintertime they're shutting it down, blowing it out. So again, look at everything you do. Can you package it up? That's a nice, easy upsell, especially if you go out and you sell the irrigation. Hey, we have this package deal. We come out there and maintain it for you. It's make it maintenance free for you. So again, it's just looking for those things that are out there. Now, one thing I didn't mention was training your team how to do this. This is something that we had to do for our lawn maintenance side, because we are not out there every single week. Our crews are out there doing their thing. We had to start teaching them to look for opportunities for us to come out there to make us, to help us go out there and increase that revenue per customer. So we started telling them to look for dead shrubs or water issues where the water's pulling up. Can we go out there and fill that low spot in, or put a drainage system in, whatever it is? Looking for dead trees and stuff like that. And, just any hazards anywhere. Those are the types of things that we're looking for to upsell our customers. But we had to train our team, and it's something that we always had to remind the team of. We have team meetings. Hey, you guys need to be doing this, and just kind of point it out. And they would get back on it for a while, then they slip off. But again, it's just kind of reiterating that to the team. One thing I never thought about till fairly recently was offering them some kind of incentive for recommending. So if they recommended a certain amount, they get a certain percentage or a certain dollar amount based on how much they would,
you
sell.
could probably implement some kind of bonus system for that. Yeah. We didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's creative. Something that you could do. Yeah. So, but again, this is all like a skill that you just need to start looking for the things and not be so focused on exactly what they call you out for. Yes, you want to deal with that, but are there other things to do? We built a relationship with one of our past customers. He has since passed away, but we took over a water feature project for him. Somebody else installed it. It was incorrect. We came in there, repaired it, started maintaining it, and every opportunity I saw for upsell on there, I would upsell this gentleman on. And I upsold him a fake rock to put over his sewer cover. And the cool story with that, it was a pretty good size, the cover was like a 2-foot round circle or so. He had 2 of them. So, it's kind of ugly. And I was kind of just jokingly said this. I'm like, we got a fake rock that we can, put over that thing. He's like, really? He's like, yeah, put those in there. So I sold him these fake rocks. They look pretty good. They're not, obviously
they're obviously fake rocks.
I'm a rock snob, so I could tell they're fake.
Yeah, but they were pretty decent ones.
Yeah. So we sold him that, and he loved those things because he had grandchildren. His grandchildren come over, and he'd go over there and act like he's picking up this big old fake rock, or look like he's picking up a rock and fool the grandkids. So he loved that. He told me that story hundreds of times, but...
Well, it just goes to show something, it didn't click in Scott's head as being this earth-shattering thing, but this gentleman really liked it. And so remember, you're not your customer. So it's okay to go ahead and throw out things that you're like, this might not be any big deal, but it might be a big deal to your customer. And he was a really high-end client. Yes. And so it was important to him probably to cover up something that was a little bit of an eyesore. It, a fake rock from far away looks way better, than what he had. So don't be afraid to just go ahead and throw it out there, even if it's not something that you think is earth-shattering, and amazing, because you never know where your client's head is at.
Yeah. And I guess the last thing is just, we want to be ethical about this. We're not selling them something that they don't need. We're selling them something that goes along with whatever they're doing, or something that you could see that they could help them with their house, or, just make it look visually more appealing, whatever it is. Think about those things when you're out there all the time. There's always, I can pretty much guarantee any job site you can go to that you can find some kind of opportunity to upsell.
Well, and I think at some point you'll get a feel for the customer of how how receptive they are to that or not. If they start shutting down and getting real crappy, okay, maybe this isn't the person. You got to get, you'll have to gauge how your customer reacts.
Absolutely, and it's timing is very important with the upsells. You can sense they're, like Katie's mentioned.
Sometimes it just might not be the day.
Well, I'm going to save that one. Well, one of the things I used to do is if I go out to a newer project and, we started doing whatever it was and I felt it wasn't the right time, I wrote those things down. And then over time, I would just reach out to them and just check in and, hey, still enjoying this. But, when I was out there, I have to see this. Have you ever thought about doing this or improving this or changing this?
Yeah, you don't have to download all of your upsells in one visit.
Yeah. And it was kind of nice because we get just steady work. So if we had like a rain day and we had to go put some rock in or, whatever it is, some stepping stones or something like that, that was a nice little rainy day job that we can go and just keeps the customer happy, keeps increase revenue per customer. So a lot of things you can be done just by doing upsells. So I encourage you guys all, next time you go out to a job, look for upsell opportunities and try it. Just throw it out there. Hey, have you ever thought about this? Or, we have this cool thing we can do with this to straighten this up or whatever. I guarantee there's always something on that job site that can be done. So take the opportunity, increase that revenue per customer, increase the revenue in your business by doing these upsells. So,
all right. Before we go, just don't forget that we've got that Google Business Profile class coming up, or workshop, whatever you want to call it, coming up on March 13th. And that's really like fine tuning your profile. You'll need to already have your profile set up. So if you already have it set up, and then we'll walk you through, you can see Scott will walk you through step by step, where to click, what to go, what to set things to.
Yeah, it's all about getting ranked higher. And we're going to share with you some things that you probably didn't even know were possible. I tried looking around to see even some of the bigger companies aren't doing this stuff, which I was actually surprised they're not doing this and taking the opportunity to use it.
Jump on it now.
Make sure you guys get in this program. It's only $50. You're going to walk away with so much value from this workshop. I encourage you guys to go sign up.
Yeah, because you'll have access to, if we add anything to it later on, that will you'll have continued access to this course, I guess is what I'm saying. So if you can't show up live, you'll have access to the replay. And then sometimes we do add things later on, like something changed or a question came up that we answered for somebody that we're like, oh man, everybody should know this. Then Scott will put those in as additional videos. Yep. And so you will have continued access to anything that we add as little upgrades to it.
Yeah, and then we're going to share with you some tools that will help you improve it, to monitor it. So a lot of things that you probably didn't even know were possible with the Google Business Profile. So signed up.
Yep, great little tool. Get found, rank higher, all the good things.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us today, and hope you have a great day.